Second now. All right, so this will be the first session of the first campaign that takes place in the land of Kelmina. It's going to take place mostly in a small section of the map known as Kalsgard, which is one of the human kingdoms that are in this land. There's going to be 4 of you in today, and in a couple weeks we'll probably add the 5th once some personal life stuff gets taken care of for them. And hopefully this will be a bunch of fun. This is all stuff I've been messing around in my head, so I'm eager to share it with you. A couple of things I want to put out right off the bat before we start is if you don't have anything to take notes with, you may want to grab something, even if it's as simple as Notepad on your computer or something, because there might be things that you'll want to remember that might be important later. A couple of things as well. The calendar will be important. So if possible, can you guys nominate one of you to be kind of your calendar keeper in terms of knowing what day you're on?
Jenny.
I posted up a link or a screenshot of the current month's calendar, and you guys will be starting on the 45th here. But just so you're aware of what day you're in, because things like moon cycles might impact stuff on you, on your decisions and things eventually. And the last non-game related thing that I want to go over is how XP works, just to clear up any confusion around it. We're going to be awarding XP based off of essentially your guys' recommendations. So if somebody does something cool, if somebody does an excellent job of role playing, basically what you may be like, hey, somebody should give that guy inspiration for this. Jot down what it was, who it was and what they did. At the end, I'm going to take all those in, and we're going to add up how many of those for each person, and that's going to count towards how you get XP. So the XP doesn't necessarily mean that you were amazing at a battle. It could have been you role played with NPCs really well. It could have been you solved a puzzle. It could have been any of those things. Just that one of your party members recognized it as cool and made a note of it. And then at the end of the session, I'll get you guys to send me all those notes, and then I'll award XP. So you guys will get XP and level up as per the XP that you're awarded, as per normal. And you'll get those all at the end of each session. So,
Cool.
any questions off any of that?
Sounds good.
All right, then let's begin. So, it's the 45th day of the winter month in Kelmina, and it's kind of a somber day because today is the day that there's going to be a funeral for Sam Pappy Young. He was a bard that, although he was young, traveled well over this entire continent to places that probably many humans haven't been to before, and back. He's spent a bunch of time in about every corner of this land that he can think of, and met many people along the way, and for the most part, been fairly well taken in. Unfortunately, on one of his recent travels, he met his demise, and today is the day that everybody's gathering in his hometown for a funeral. And that's where you guys come in. You guys are all on your way into Kelmina. Sorry, not into Kelmina, into the town that he's from, Bilgewater. And I just kind of want to, we'll go through and hit each of you, and you guys can tell me how you're entering into the town. And once you're all in, then we'll pick up from there. So, Fergal, how are you coming into town?
Well, I imagine I'll be coming in some sort of caravan, a carriage. I'm used to nicer things. I just don't want to have to walk there.
And you're definitely not alone. There's a lot of folks coming in. Bilgewater is not a very big town at all. It's a very small town actually, and this flood of people coming in has probably five-folded the population of the town. So there's a lot of folks
I,
coming in. There's
I've
large
actually been here before.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Excellent. With a lot of folks coming in, it'll be it'll be the roads coming into the town will be quite populated. Uh, I already forgotten how I'm supposed to pronounce it.
Fubet.
Fubet, thank you. How are you coming into town? You coming in via the road as well?
I am, yep. I'm coming from my hometown of. I wrote it down somewhere. Um, where's my history thing? Forsberg.
Oh, okay. So you're coming in.
From kind of the west.
Yeah, you're coming up through Hathaway and into Kalsgard, and then coming in that way. So you're coming through Ramsgate and along the same road, possibly in the same caravan that Fergal's in.
Mm-hmm.
Perry, yourself, how are you coming into town?
I came in on a ship to Kalsgard, and I'm walking down, taking the road.
So you're walking. You would have been walking down from Kalsgard. Kalsgard's on a left.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you probably would have landed at Hathaway and maybe come up the same way.
Where did I put that
through
map?
the sea?
Yep. Okay.
And,
yes.
And Fina.
I am coming in down the road on foot. I'm from the forests up near Camp Elm, so I've come down from the northeast, down through Kalsgard and Brackley, and I'm just kind of walking, keeping to myself just a little bit down the side of the road, but I'll give a friendly smile to anybody that maybe passes by.
Good stuff. So as you guys come in into Bilgewater here, like I said, you'll see a lot of people all coming in. It's probably a little surprising seeing this many people all coming for one man's funeral, but as you approach into the town, you can see the town's doing its very best to cope with the amount of people that are coming into it. There's a large sign posted right outside on the other side of the bridge that leads into the town, stating that any bloodshed will be met with severe penalty. With bringing in this many people into a small area at once, there's undoubtedly going to be fights or what have you. Funerals generally encourage a lot of booze, so people are just being a little wary about that. You can see tents popped up all over the fields and stuff around. The inn has tons of carts and everything parked in front of it, and it's quite loud and busy in a very small area. The markets are all open and bustling. For it being a somber occasion, most people seem pretty happy and upbeat. There's a lot of other barbs around. People who had played with Pappy or what have you, so you can hear a lot of sounds of music. There's several campfires happening in different locations. A lot of the homes have set up fire pits and food areas out in front of their homes. So it almost has a feeling of a party in a sense as well. And so this is the town that you're walking into. For anybody who's not familiar, this is what Pappy looked like. There's a drawing of him that resembles this with a little note of who he was and what was happening. You see that posted up on a few different walls of people just offering remembrances of Pappy and the times that they had spent with him over the years. And so as you guys get into town, probably the first thing you're going to try to figure out is where you're going to be staying. So I'm going to assume, for the most part, everybody but Fina probably came in and entered the town roughly around the same time, and then Fina's coming in from another direction. But so I guess Fergal and Perry and Fubet, right? I got it right that time. I'm going to assume I got it right that time.
Yes, you did.
All right. You three are just entering into the town, And is there any particular area you'd like to go to first? This is the funeral scheduled for later on this evening.
I would like to hit a tavern.
I would as well.
Have a drink.
Okay, so the tavern is also the inn in this town, and if you're looking at the map I have up on the screen, it's the largest building right next to the bridge here near the bottom, right next to the market.
Okay.
So you enter into there, and you can see that they've actually opened up the giant. It has a whole bunch of big windows facing towards the river, and they've basically just taken the windows out and made it so there's like walkout patio there because they're just bursting at the seams for room in this place. The tables are all smushed very closely together. The wait staff are running ragged, trying to keep up with everybody. But everybody seems to be in a fairly good mood. There's loud music being played. So you guys enter in, and are you looking to have a seat, or are you going to go up to the bar, or?
I'll stand at the bar
All right.
and order a
Myself
pint.
as well.
And Fergal?
Before I head to any particular place, let's see. Is there, like you said, there's just like way too many people for this small town?
Oh yeah. There's way too many people for this tiny town right now.
Yeah, I would probably imagine I would also go to the tavern. Just, if anything, just to sit down.
Okay. All right. So you guys have entered into the bar. Two of you are up at the actual bar, and Fergal, you've taken a seat. And Fina, you're just coming into town here now as well. You're coming in probably closer to the top right corner of the screen here if you're looking at the map. And you're seeing how busy everything is as well. And the provisions and everything have been kind of laid out. Would your preferred destination be to the bar as well, or did you want to try to see if there's any other places in town you wanted to look at first?
I wouldn't mind. I think I would also like to go to the bar, but not to look for a place to stay. I would prefer to maybe find a place, maybe there in the trees somewhere to make camp. But I would like to go in and maybe grab a seat, maybe a little water, kind of rest my feet a bit.
Okay. All right. So you guys enter in. Seats are hard to find, but luck happens to manage it that Fergal and Fina, you guys end up actually sitting almost across from each other, and Fubet and Perry, you guys are kind of almost smushed up against beside each other, standing up at the bar.
Woohoo.
The serving lady comes down to the table and asks Fubet and Fina if there's anything she can get them, and you can tell she's kind of in a hurried tone. She's trying to get as many orders in as quickly as possible. So she's like, "Is there anything I can get you to?"
Just
Pint of
some
ale
water
for
for me,
me.
please.
Some whiskey would be fine.
A pint,
and-
a beer.
Sorry, and Fina?
Yep.
Just a water for me, please.
Water. Okay. Sure. she runs back. She brings back a pitcher of water. Kind of slams it down. Hands a small clay cup of what might be whiskey to Fergal, and says, "There you go." The barkeep up at the bar heard your guys ask for pints, and has just been slinging pints down the bar, almost not even looking to see who it's going for. It's not clear whether they're actually asking for too many payments. It almost seems like it's keep everybody's spirits up and everything happy at the moment. And so you guys have a little bit of items to drink, and you can talk amongst the other folks. You're hearing lots of people sharing stories of why they're there, how they met Pappy, what have you. Some people that know each other, you're seeing, they coming, almost having a small reunion meeting back up in this area. And there's just a lot of music and good natured items happening. So what would you guys like to do next?
I look at who did you say was right across from me?
Fina's sitting almost directly across from you at the same table.
Well, I'll just sort of just look in the general direction and say it's so funny. We all know that we're here for Pappy, but none of us seem to know each other.
He seemed to really travel quite a bit. Where are you from?
Oh, yeah, Pappy traveled uh, with me for almost 3 years, and I barely recognize a face in this entire town.
Wow. Where do you come from?
What's that? Sorry?
Where do you come from?
Oh, that's not important.
Okay. I got you. I didn't
Your
really
name?
know.
My
I'm
name is
Fina.
Fergal.
Well, nice to meet you, Fergal. I'm Fina. I didn't really know him that long, but for the time that I did know him, he was a good friend for the time that I was around him.
I would agree with that sentiment. He helped me out in a rough part of my life.
So as the noise of the crowd kind of picks up around, that conversation kind of dies into the background, and we'll swing up to the bar where Fubet and Perry are.
Yeah, I'm all squashed up against you, so I just pat your chest. Hey, big boy. You here for Pappy? I imagine.
And the large man with the bright red hair, standing there silently sipping his beer, Fubet says,
Sorry, I was muted. How are you doing? It is a sad day for us all.
Yeah, I liked Pappy. I met him a few times when I was in port. I'm Perry.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I am Fubet. Very nice to meet you, Perry. Um, did you know him very well?
I saw him in port. Saw him in the taverns. We chatted a bit. He was a entertainment. We
Yes.
chatted.
He was very good with that. I spent quite a bit of time with him in the past. Traveled with him for a couple of years. Very good friend. Very good friend. Helped me quite a bit.
Oh, nice.
"Okay, so you guys, continue having your beverages, and those conversations evolve, and you guys begin to chit chat a little bit more, and maybe reminisce a little bit. And the day drags on. Inquiries about lodging has kind of come up, and as you've asked anybody, the inn has been fully filled. There's no room at all in the inn. They do have some tents and what have you set up, and you're offered that you could take your choice of any available tenting areas, or the forecast is to be fairly clear. While it might be a little bit cool, it is a nice night sky if you want to sleep out and look at the stars as well. But unfortunately, there isn't any room in the actual inn. Even most people's homes, their guest rooms and everything have been filled up. So it looks like most likely you guys will be sleeping out somewhere in the immediate area that night. Which
Sounds pretty good to me.
Which may suit some more than others, but
Yeah, I won't even take a tent. I'll just take my bedroll and go lay it out somewhere. Save the tents for somebody else.
okay. So you've got a couple hours between now and when the proceedings for this funeral is going to begin. Is there anything you guys wanted to check out in the town, look around, anybody you wanted to talk to, or were you more content to kind of sit and drink and converse amongst yourselves while we wait for the funeral to begin?
When I traveled with Pappy, we visited here I stood in his wedding. There was an old man who ran an item shop. Is he still alive?
I'm not sure if the old man that runs the item shop would still be around. There is a. Give me just a quick moment. In Bilgewater here, we do have a general store that's ran by Francis Dufoot, and there's a blacksmith. But outside of them, most of the other shops are just not really there. You may find something. There has been quite a few small shops kind of set up in the market area with just a number of people that come in. There's been some people that are seeing it as an opportunity to possibly, peddle some wares. But for the most part, as far as established shops in the town, you're looking at kind of a general store and a blacksmith.
Cool. Nah. There was an old fella I used to have coffee with. That's all.
No, I think depending on how old that was, he may have passed or he may have moved out of this area. Anybody else? Anything they'd like to go off to do?
I'm happy to hang out in the tavern, kind of people watch and listen to stories.
Okay.
Is there a like an Arcana type of shop where I might be able to find some supplies for spellcasting?
Not in Bilgewater. Your best bet for something like that would probably come maybe in Brackley or in Ramsgate. Definitely in Kalsgard itself. But some of these smaller towns like Bilgewater and Maidstone and what have you are really tiny hamlets. Unless there's a known Arcana type person there wouldn't be any need for it. Most of them are just like small farming villages. But
Well, considering the amount of people here in the pop-up shops, might there be one?
there might be. Depends what you're looking for. You can definitely go and investigate the market area and see if that's something you'd like to. If there's anything that catches your eye there.
Yes, I am looking for a specific item actually. I'm looking for glowworms.
All right. So okay, if you want to head out to the market area, we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Anybody want to accompany him, or are you gonna kind of just slip out on your own?
I'll ask Perry if she would like to stroll around a little bit since she seems friendly.
Well, sure, why not? There's people out there to watch too.
Sure.
All right. If you don't mind rolling a d20, let's see if you can find a shop. And Perry, since you're out there
Yes.
people watching, can you also do a perception check for me?
Okay.
So am I doing like an investigation check or something?
Just do the d20 itself. I just wanted
Okay.
to see if...
And you
Four.
said I'm doing a perception.
Yeah, perception check, please.
$13.
So, Fu, you as you walk around the little market area, you see people doing general foods. A couple of people trying to peddle off banged up, beaten armor and what have you. A couple of trinkets and items from faraway places, but the specific glowworms you're looking for doesn't seem to be having anything here. You see lots of like dew worms and stuff for fishing, but no glowworms, unfortunately.
Okay.
Perry, as you're kind of watching and looking around, you can see two figures that are kind of doing everything they can to stay out of direct attention as they're kind of going through the market. You can see one might come up and bump into somebody, as the other one kind of slings in behind them a little bit and then scurries off. And it seems like these two are operating together, doing something, and they keep occasionally bumping into the odd person, and then moving on, disappearing into the crowd, and you can kind of watch them and see as they're moving around.
Do they pass near me at all?
They haven't passed near you, but you can see one of them starting to approach Fu there. They haven't gotten quite near to you yet, but looks like one's about to do their patented bump into Fu here in a moment.
Fu here. Nice. Fu, watch your back here.
What's going on?
Some gentlemen are relieving people of their possessions, I believe.
Gotcha.
And then in a slightly louder voice where they might be able to hear me, I'd like to say that it might not be the best time for something like that. You know.
And the one that's approaching Fu at the kind of notices the two of you look in his general direction, and here's your warning. He kind of just almost as if he had totally planned it, just continues to turn right past and not actually get to your area. It's just before he gets to you, he just turns off to the left and carries on. And you realize you don't see the second one that was near you until you feel a small tug on the back of your tunic, as if somebody's hand went on there quickly.
Well, for fuck's sake, comes out of my mouth. Can I grab it?
Yeah, you can reach back and try to grab if you'd like. To roll a dexterity check, please.
Okay. Dexterity.
I love the reaction to that, by the way, for fuck's sake.
15.
15. All right, so you grab the wrist of the person just as they're about to move their hand out of the back pocket of your tunic. You grab the wrist, and you've got this young female wrist, and she's kind of wide-eyed. You're not quite sure what her reaction is going to be, but you see her hand starting to move towards her belt.
And in the secret road language, I'd like to say she needs to get her eyes checked and pick a better target. Although, again, I recommend that Pappy's funeral is a bad place for this.
And she her hand drops away from her waist, and she kind of pleads a little. Oh, I'm sorry. Just I tripped. I didn't mean to touch onto you. All my apologies. I hope you have a good day. And she kind of wriggles her wrist away from you, and then starts slinking backwards a little bit.
I let her go.
So yeah, you guys.
She didn't make off with anything, right? I did catch her.
Yeah, you managed to catch her. She didn't have anything in her hand. Whenever she pulls out, you still have all your possessions at this point.
Thank you.
No problem. So she slips back into the crowd and has kind of disappeared. You guys browse through the market. There's not a ton of items that would probably be overly useful for you, but if there's anything in particular you'd like to search for outside of glowworms, let me know. I can let you know if it's here. And if not, you're more than welcome to hang out in this area and people watch, or head back inside, and we can fast forward maybe to the start of the ceremonies.
Yeah, maybe find a tree to lean up against or something, so we can watch.
Yep. I've got nothing planned between now and the funeral, so.
Okay. So we'll cut back to Fergal and Perry at the bar. You guys have been chatting for a little bit.
Fina, you're gonna fuck our names up again.
Yeah, you guys got the same stupid P names. It's gonna screw me up. I can just tell.
Okay, well, I'll
We planned it.
I'll just be Peridot. Just go with Peridot.
You should change your name to the Fairy.
My
So we
full
got
name.
Frugal, Fubet, Fina, and Fairy.
Oh,
You see my dilemma here.
I call Fairy.
But so yeah, sorry. Fu and Fina, sorry, Fergal and Fina are
for
inside.
fuck's sake! Jeez. Oh my god! This was not planned as far as I know.
No, you guys are all just like, how can we make our names sound as much alike as possible?
You know what?
So, Fergal and Fina are back inside the tavern at the bar. You guys have been, sorry, at your table. You guys have been chatting for a little bit. Was there anything you guys wanted to do before we sped time forward a little bit to?
Okay,
certain
yes.
places?
With no context whatsoever, my eyes go blank white, and I stop talking for about 10 minutes.
All right. So Fina,
Oh,
you're
I'm
sitting
a little
here.
freaked out.
Yeah, you're kind of sitting across from him, and mid sentence, all of a sudden he just goes, and eyes completely go white. You kind of wave.
Can
your
I
hand.
yell for help? Like, I think he's having a stroke. I don't know what's going on.
A couple of people come over and kind of shake him, and he's not responsive, but he's breathing fine. Nothing seems completely out of the normal, other than the fact that he's not.
Nothing to worry about. I was just ordering us another round.
Did your accent change?
What accent?
Okay. So, okay. I think I'm going to move to a different table. It was nice to meet you, Fergal.
That was just a trick. I ordered us another round. I can see through the eyes of my animal companion. That's all.
Oh, really?
And as you,
What
as you,
kind of animal? Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, no problem. Go ahead.
What kind of animal? I'm into animals. Did you just make this up and you actually had a stroke?
No, he'll be back in about 5 minutes with those drinks.
Was he
quite
here
small.
before?
He's always with me, yes.
So, Fergal, I'm going to let you describe how these drinks come back.
Mhm.
Does your friend have hands?
Now, are you familiar, Monkey, with the wingspan velocity of the European swallow?
Oh my goodness.
I don't think he's speaking about who swallows.
Oh God. I thought we discussed this, but okay, it changed.
No, I'm just fucking with you, of course.
All right.
No, so a tiny little gray mouse pulling a tray with 2 drinks is coming along, just sort of giving her, not really it's taking its time, but it finally gets to the table.
You see the kind of like the crowds of people are parting as everybody's just kind of looking down, going, "What the?" As this little mouse is pulling this tray of drinks along. Every once in a while, somebody gives it a helpful like little push along, because they're just like so saddened to see it struggling. But
My mouth drops and my eyes are really wide. I'm trying not to squeal. Like, oh my god, it's so cute! I didn't do that. That was in my head.
So I'll snap my fingers once the drinks get here, and he'll just retreat into a little pocket in the front of my jacket.
That is cool. How did you train him to do that?
Oh, he doesn't actually exist.
You are an interesting person.
Magic.
and so we'll fade out as you two are just enthralled with each other. This is actually a really good pairing of two folks to kind of have sitting together. And we'll move forward a few hours. The sun's started to set over the town, and there's a large gathering happening right along the riverbank. You didn't notice it earlier, but there's a large section of wood that's been piled up. Turns out it's not a burial that's going to happen with Pappy. Is they basically are going to put him on this large stack of wood instead of the flame. and he'll be cremated in that manner. The area all around it has started to gather with people coming up. A local religious person has kind of come up to the front and said a couple of blessings. And Pappy's wife, who actually is the one who sent you guys all the invitations to come, has kind of put out the word through the various bards of the land. Her name's Vala. She's kind of standing up at the front, and everybody's voice is hushed down as you guys have all kind of gathered in this area. And she's recounting, the time her and Pappy have spent together. She says that it's probably going to be very difficult for her to meet with all of you individually, but she really hopes that over the next day or so she can find time to chat with each of you that managed to make the journey here. Pappy has told her a lot of things from all his various adventures, and you guys have all been characters in those. It's just she's eager to be able to put faces to some of the names that she's heard. There's so many people that it's going to be difficult for anybody to come up and if we had people coming up here to say what Pappy meant to them, it would take all evening. So I hope instead that maybe the best way to honor his memory is to share his memory with others. So for the people that are sitting around you, if you want to take a moment and just maybe share a special memory, that'd be great. We always kind of said that everybody dies twice, and it's once when you leave this mortal plane and another time when people stop mentioning your name. So hopefully by you guys all talking, you'll keep his name alive. And you kind of hear everybody around turning to each other and whispering some stories very similar to the ones that you guys were sharing earlier. And if there's anyone in particular that you'd like to call out now, feel free. If not, we'll just move it forward. But so you guys, sorry, go ahead. Somebody was about to say something.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You first.
Well, I fondly remember the days in the circus with Peppy. He kind of got me started in the circus with him. Started out as just a helping hand, and eventually he got me in, and I did a little act myself. But great guy. He got me where I am today.
I cast Minor Illusion.
Okay.
And the illusion is going to be Pappy playing a song. I think everyone would like to hear one more song.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And so right up in front of the large wood stack, the illusion appears of Pappy sitting there, and he just begins to strum. And as his song breaks in, several of the other barbs that have come in his honor kind of reach back. They grab their instruments, and what started off as a small solo strum by Pappy gets built up as more and more musicians join in. And right around that time, they bring the torches over and set the pallet alight. And as the song continues, the flames grow higher and brighter, and singing now comes into the song as well. And then as it comes on near the end of the song, and the pallet's in full flame, everybody kind of quiets down. It just goes back to just Pappy strumming the last few notes of the song all on his own. And then the illusion kind of shimmers and fades out, and all that's left in front of it is this large bonfire of a stack of wood that Pappy's body's laid inside. And as that's going, some people that were on the fringes start bringing food and drinks and setting up tables nearby. And the mood goes from being very somber and what have you to being a little bit more happy, more of a celebration as drinks start to flow and food started to be shared, and a nice active evening kind of kicks into gear. Some people retire back to their rooms right away. Other folks stay up and drink and reminisce. You see several people go up and shake Vala's hand. You hear different rumors and stuff going on as people are discussing. Is there anything that you guys want to try to do right now, or is you more of a retirement type folk, or are you going to stay up and kind of reminisce and party with with everybody else?
Oh, I'm partying.
I want to ask Fergal to dance.
I'm afraid I have 2 left feet, but maybe next time.
Are you sure you could just stand there and I could dance around you?
I appreciate the sentiment. I'm just going to retire to a table.
All right. Well, I go out into the middle of the throng and kind of mingle and talk to people a little bit.
Oh, I'm dancing.
I'm just
Said
gonna
this got a
people
little
watch with
festive.
my.
I'm dancing.
I'm gonna people watch with my brew.
Okay. So in the way you guys have kind of reorganized yourself, you've almost kind of shifted groups a little bit. So Fu, you and Fergal are actually kind of sitting back at a table, just watching the crowds go. Fu enjoying his beverage, and Fina, you see Perry out in the crowd just giving it on the dance floor.
Oh yeah.
And you're kind of drawn to seeing her go, and you kind of dancing around on the outside as well.
I'm kicking my feet up. Hey, lady.
Hey, it's a pretty nice party, huh?
It is. It's a good celebration for Pappy.
He'd be proud, I think.
I think so too. So I'm Perry. How about yourself?
I'm Fina.
Oh, nice to meet you, Fina.
Yeah, nice to meet you. How did you know Pappy?
Oh, I'm a sailor. I saw him in many a ports. I like to tease him like a little brother. I don't get to see my brother often, so, I like to tease Poppy a bit. He was a good sport.
Yeah. Sometimes family isn't always blood.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll cut over to the table where the 2 gentlemen are sitting.
That was an insight, if that's cool.
Oh, sorry.
19. The 19 was an insight.
Insight check on.
Fu.
Okay.
I overheard your name. Poppy spoke very highly of you.
Well, that is mighty kind that you know my name. How did you know him?
You saved my life.
In a matter of speaking, he has saved mine as well, to be honest.
Yeah, when I had a situational change in my life, he helped me become a spell for hire, which traveled almost for 3 years together. I stood in his wedding, actually.
Very nice. I know his wife too. She was part of the circus as well. Traveled with us, so yeah, I knew her pretty well too.
Okay. And the night continues on, and celebrations go late into the night. Eventually, the fire pallets have died down. You see different folks coming over and taking small mementos of the area. Some people head back to the lucky ones go back to the inn where they had rooms. Other folks are retiring back to tents. Others have chosen just to take off from the town altogether. They came for the ceremony, and that was about it. You guys are retiring back either to your bedrolls out under the stars or to whatever tents you're able to find. And the evening's coming to a close, and we wake up the next morning. Some of you might be a little bit dry mouthed and cotton mouthed from a night of drinking. Others just happy to see another sunrise come up. And as you're starting to awaken, those who didn't get up immediately are awoken by a local town's guard asking if they could, if you could make your way to Vala's home, that she had asked to speak with you. And each of you have kind of gotten this message, whether it was by being awoken if you were still sleeping in, or they caught you at the inn trying to get breakfast. But a common message has come to all four of you that Vala would like to see you at some point this morning if you can make time.
I was sleeping by the water. I woke quickly and head to Valis.
Yeah, I was already up when the guard came by, so I got a little bit of an early start, I think, on the way to her house.
Well, I was already up as well, and I can see Perry walking up from the water, heading towards Vala, so I'm going to join her.
Hey, Fubet. Good morning.
Good morning. Enjoy your evening, I saw.
Absolutely. Feel smashing this morning. I need to dunk my head.
And Fergal, are you also on your way there?
Yep, I would head there right away.
All right. So you guys approach Vala's home, and it's a modest home, but you can see that there's a large group of people that have gathered in there. She's summoned many people in, and you guys are, as you approach, they've got a couple of guards that have been posted around there, just not so much for protection, but more so just for crowd control, so that she wouldn't be overwhelmed. And you mentioned that you were asked to come here, and they guide you into what you would assume be the large living room of this modest house. And there's many other people in there. It almost seems like it's a waiting room of sorts. There's the kitchen is doored off from this room, and you can see every so often somebody comes out and then another person goes in. And you're sitting in here with probably about 10 other people. So there's you four and then about 10 other people. And they're coming and going. They come in, they spend a few minutes in the kitchen area, then they leave the house. Some of them leave holding packages. Some of them leave sobbing. Some of them just kind of walk out almost no different than how they walked in. And you guys just kind of sitting in the room listening to various chatter that's going on.
See that Fergal's here. I'd kind of like to go up behind him and sort of whisper in his ear, "Hey, Toasty, what's this all about? Do you know?"
As you touch my shoulder, you find out that it's actually not my shoulder, but a chameleon hiding on my shirt.
In which case, I'm like, "Oh gosh, I really like this guy. He's got animals coming out everywhere." But anyway,
Pets.
so Toasty, what's this all about? Do you know anything? Why is she calling everybody here?
I imagine she just wants to see the friends. But I mean, there is quite a few people here. Maybe a will meeting.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, you got a point.
There's way too many people here for Poppy could possibly give out. How many? Just give me a second. Snap my fingers. The chameleon turns into a pigeon and flies away.
I don't think you can actually do that. I think you'd have to reuse your materials again if you wanted to change his form.
That's fair.
Yeah, if you want to change the familiar's form, basically you have to like send him away and then bring him back as a different item.
One second, I have the spell up. It's something weird like that. Yeah, you can't have more than one familiar. If you cast a spell while you already have a familiar, you can instead cause it to adopt a new form.
Right. So you'd have to
Choose
go
one
through
of the
this.
forms from the above lists, but it still takes an hour. So yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, you can try whatever you're going to do with the chameleon as well. Or if you want, you can say that he's still the mouse. It's up to yourself.
No, I sort of like him as a chameleon at the moment. Yeah, I'll send him away and just up to a rooftop just to see if he can see exactly how many people are in the area,
Okay.
or if there's a theme to it. Like, I mean, I'll look through its eyes when it gets up there.
Okay. So we'll send the chameleon going up to the rafters of the hall.
Jaward, by the way, his name is Jaward.
Okay.
You're gonna do the crazy eye thing again, aren't you?
Yeah.
So as Gerard finally gets up into the rafters and he kind of changes color as he goes across a couple of tapestries that were on the wall, and then once he gets to the wooden beams that make up the rafters of the place, he turns the same shade of brown as those, and kind of just almost disappears to the naked eye if you weren't really watching for him up on the rafters. And he's peering down, and Furley, your eyes kind of glaze over as you go into like a seeing mode to see through his eyes. You see, counting yourself, probably about 10 to 13 other people are here in the room. You can hear different conversations that were a little bit further away from you. Conversations seem to be all over the place. Other people asking, hey, what do you think we're all here for? Other people are just talking about rumors that are happening recently. You hear something about the Duke's son and possibly being missing. And you hear other people talking about trying to figure out how Pappy actually died. Other people are talking about an upcoming election. So there's a whole bunch of just various items that are going on, various conversations.
Cool. I'll come back to my own self, but I'm going to leave Jaward on the rafters for now.
Am I close enough to have witnessed this?
You saw a something start climbing up the wall. You didn't get a real good look at it, and it scurried
No.
fairly quickly. But you did see these two talking, and then if you were paying attention, you may have noticed his catatonic state a little bit.
I did, and I see him come back, and I want to go over to him, and and say, hey, do you have insight? Can you see from another form?
I can share vision with an animal companion, yes.
By chance, was it a wolf?
It
A
can
dire
be a
wolf.
wolf.
Hmm.
Actually, it can't be a wolf, sorry. I actually don't know the limitations of how big the animal is at this point. I've gotten everything from a bat to a mosquito, all the way to a pretty large octopus.
Okay, I've seen this before from a child, and he could see from a wolf. By any chance, do you have a sister?
I kind of lean over and whisper to Fu. I don't think he's gonna tell you. He wouldn't tell me where he's from.
I don't have any family.
Okay, all right, just checking. Something I saw before. I'll let you be.
No problem.
So you guys kind of head back. Perry, is there anything you wanted to do here just before?
No, I'm just kind of watching it all, taking it all in, kind of I don't know, fidgety in a crowd of people not doing anything.
Right.
You know, I'm getting kind of antsy. I like to have something to do. I'm getting ready to pull out my cards and play with them because there's, nothing's really going on. And I'm feeling kind of closed in by the building.
Okay. So you guys are sitting there for a few minutes, and somebody sees you pull out the deck of cards and start shuffling them, and they actually look over to you and say, "Hey, would you like to play a round?"
I'd love to, but this doesn't seem the right place for that.
Yeah,
Maybe another time.
We don't have anything else going on. We could have a friendly hand.
Do it.
What do you think? 1 silver. We'll wager 1 silver on it.
1 silver, but if Vala begins speaking, game ends, no money changes hand.
Say that once more.
That's fine. But if Vala begins, if anything starts happening,
Oh,
we stop
of
the
course,
game,
of course.
no money changes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Of course. If one of us gets called in, then yeah, we'll just end the game here. And you're seeing other people being called in and then leaving. But the gentleman says, if you're familiar with the game, it's you get 5 cards. I get 5 cards. We can change cards once and up the bet if we wish. And then we see who has the better hand.
And my Discord is acting like complete shit. It keeps going red.
Did you catch all of that?
Okay, so what are we doing? Do I need to roll something?
Yeah, so you're going to roll 5d6s. So you're going to do exclamation point
What was that?
5d6s. So do exclamation point RR space 5 space d6.
Exclamation point RR space 5d6.
5 space d6.
Hopefully that's what I heard. Well, shit. RR 5d space 6.
No, 5 space d6.
Discord's red, man. I'm so sorry. Can you type it there? Thank you. RR 5d. I am so sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
So give me a second here. I actually have to jot down what I'm rolling here as well. There we go.
You don't have 5d6, Monkey, with that big bag of dice you got?
I do, but I only pulled out 1d6. 'Cause that's all I thought I would need right now. All right, so you've each gotten your 5 cards. This play is pretty much like poker.
Okay.
And you can exchange as many cards as you want on this one hand if you want to re-up the bet, and go from there. And it's straights or pairs and stuff like that.
Really? So, like, looking at this, I have 2 aces.
You have 2.
Is that what I'm seeing?
Yep.
Well, then I want to trade in my other 3 cards.
All right, so roll 3 more d6.
So I'm going to roll a 3D. Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
So I have 4 aces.
Yeah. Now, in this deck of cards, because I can't really control what I have versus what you have, there's there may be more than 4 in a deck.
Obviously, yes.
So this gentleman decides to exchange 1 card. And he rolls that one. Okay. And he says, would you like to up the bet at all? I could increase
Keith
the wager
says, would I like to what?
to increase the bet at all.
Increase the bet?
Yeah.
No.
I think we should.
We were
bring it
playing
to-
for silver, correct?
1 silver was what the opening bet was. I'd like to raise you another 2 silver.
Quick aside.
Yep.
I hate to do this. I'm
this-
going to try to restart my Discord.
Yeah, no problem.
While she does that, can I see his cards through Gerard's eyes?
Ah, you can. You can. I will send you what cards he has in his hands right now. That's a great idea.
Cool.
So that's what he's holding at the moment.
I heard him say cool. What's cool, Fergie?
They, these poker players, they both have the same hand, essentially.
What?
What was her higher card?
She has 4 1s and a 3.
She has 4 1s and a 3. He has 4 1s and a 4.
So she's got the better hand then.
She has the worst hand.
She does? I thought a 3 was higher than a 4.
Is it?
I don't know if a 1's on an ace.
And we know now that in real life, Mandy knows as much about poker as Fina does. And no.
Yeah, exactly. What? Well, if
No,
If
stop,
the one is
stop.
a-
Perry is back now. So, Perry,
Yeah, if you can call still being in the red and yellow, but carry on. What are we doing?
so we're all back in here in Discord now. The gentleman, the cards have all been dealt. You've done your exchanges. He's asking to raise you an additional 2 silver.
Something about more silver. I'm not interested in more silver.
Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to try.
I'm not interested in upping the bet.
Okay, so he turns over 4 of his cards and he shows 4 1s.
So he has 4 1s as well.
If that's what you're going to flip over and show.
Fuck, this sucks. Sorry, I can't.
1 second. I'll try. Give me a second.
My Discord just keeps going red.
Disconnect, reconnect in again. Everybody disconnect, reconnect in again for a second. All right, Jenny, did you disconnect and reconnect?
Back.
It's got to be like my house. The kid's probably playing Fortnite. The husband's probably got the computer going. It's probably a bunch of phones doing stuff.
See, she's there. We go. I was waiting for her to see the message to disconnect and reconnect. I just tried changing the region that the voice server is on. Let's see if that helped at all. Did that work out any better, Perry?
Well, I came back faster that time, but
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay. All
See
right.
how
So,
long it lasts.
all right. So the gentleman flips over 4 1s and kind of looks
Mhm.
expectantly at you, waiting to see what you may reveal.
Well, I have 4 1s as well. I would reveal those.
And a slight smile comes upon his face. Can you roll a perception check for me?
I'm guessing you just told me to roll a perception.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Critical
So-
hit. Plus
Yep.
4.
So he sees that your 4 ones come down, and he has a little grin on his face, and you see him do a quick flick of his finger with the cards that he has, and your keen eye kind of catches that he actually switched the card that he had in his hand with another one. And as he lays down the 5th one, you notice right away that he obviously changed cards. So instead of 4 ones, he's displaying 5, but that wasn't the card he had originally. Did you catch that?
No, it's. You remember when we were playing with Craig the other night and we could, hear him enough to understand what he was saying?
Okay.
Get rid of 75% of what we could hear. I'm hearing like 5% of what you're saying. I'm hearing vowels occasionally.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. This is awful.
Okay, no problem. How about we all take
How can I handle this?
How about we
If I
take a
try to
5-minute
watch
break?
the stream, I'm going to be like 15 minutes behind everybody.
A second.
Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry.
All right. How about for everybody else? How about we take a 5-minute break? See if Jenny's able to
Yep.
clear up some stuff off her internet, and then we'll come back and we'll pick up from that point.
Sounds good.
All right. So we're just gonna take
Pee
a
break.
5-minute pee break, and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, folks, we're back. And let's bring my webcam back up here. There we go. So we're back. So, where we left off, you guys had started into a game. Perry, you and this other gentleman in the room, and
Yes.
you guys both laid down hands of 4 ones. And as he sees your hand come down, he takes his remaining card, and you see him do a little flip with his hands. And you notice it looks like he just changed the card that was in his hand, and he lays down a 5th one.
Now, why would you only lay 4 down and not the 5? Why would you not have laid the 5 down to begin with, sir?
You always keep 1 card back.
That you just have to flip and, you know.
Oh, are you accusing me of cheating, ma'am?
Just disrespectful people. Happy. I don't know if he'd be amused or not. Well, what do you want to do, sir? Because I'm not in the mood to fight over Pappy's, Pappy's widow's home.
Well, by the looks of the cards here in front of us, I've won. So I would expect you to be an honorable person and pay your 1 silver.
I start nudging Fergie.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty funny, isn't it?
Maybe you should say something.
Yeah, and then I'll be the one to get punched.
Whatever.
Okay, fuck it. I cast Mage Hand, and I take the card out of the pocket that he hid it in.
So as you guys, as Perry and this gentleman are kind of having a discussion back and forth, this purplish glowing hand just kind of appears. It's completely disembodied. It's just a arcanish purplish glow of this hand, and it reaches in and just plucks a card from this gentleman's sleeve, and you see a card with a 5 written on it come out. And
Sir!
It just waves it in front of his face and then turns it back to you and then waves it back in front of his face and drops the card on his lap, and the hand disappears. And his
Now,
face.
What was your last card? A 4, was it?
3.
It was a 3. Yeah, you didn't even need to cheat. You won anyway.
But cheaters don't win.
His face just kind of goes, like, he's realized he's been caught. He's looking around the room. He assumes that you two are together and realizes maybe not the best spot to do it. He just kind of flips you a silver. Says, it's all good. No worries. Sorry about that. So you
1 silver. Thank you.
Did we catch his name at all?
No, you didn't. And in fact, just as he flips the 1 silver over and he kind of slinks back into the room a little bit, the door opens up and one of the guards calls out all 4 of your names and asks you to come in.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go, big boy.
All right.
Hey, dancing lady.
Hey, Fina. Nice to see you again. I guess we're in here for similar reasons. They're calling us.
Must be kind of fortuitous.
And thank you, sir, with the, finding that pocketed card of mine. I do like to have a complete deck.
Yeah, you're not very good at cards.
They're more
better
my
than I am.
toys. I just like to fiddle with them.
So you guys enter into a really warm, cozy kitchen. There's a small table, and Val is sitting in one of the chairs, and one of her friends is kind of bringing over drinks and sandwiches and stuff to the table, just replenishing what's been taken over the last little bit, and she excuses herself out the back. You guys kind of sit around the table, and Val looks at you all and says, "I'm so glad you guys were able to make it. I've heard so many stories about all of you. Pappy always spoke very highly of each of you, and Fergal and Fu, it's been so great to see you two again. It's been ages." She kind of gives you guys great big hugs. And I hope
genuinely feel like a lesser person knowing that Pappy's dead.
it is sad, and I understand how you feel about it. I'm sure once some of this all kinds of dies down a little bit and the reality of it sinks in on me, it'll be a much different time as well. But for right now, I'm trying to complete off the last of his wishes as best I can. We knew that his travels were dangerous, that things could go array, but I never expected it to kind of end like this. It was horrible. His body, it's haunting. She kind of looks down at her
What
cup a
happened?
little bit.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
How did he die?
We've been hearing different things, or at least I have.
He was to the north. I don't. He was going up for a performance in the north, and he was due to be back, and he eventually came back. He was on his horse, but unfortunately, he wasn't sitting upon it. He was being dragged by it. The folks that found him said he was apparently that he was mugged. Everything that he had was taken. It was just him kind of tied to his horse being dragged along the road. When they examined him, they found just countless stab marks all over him, as if somebody had come at him with, as if it was multiple people coming at him with daggers or something. I don't know. It was brutal. He was stabbed so many times, so many holes, so much blood.
It was definitely people. I've heard rumors of animals.
I heard different things, that maybe it had been beasts. One group found what they said resembled fibers and hairs from spiders, and that there were some webs. He could have just been pulled through some bushes. I don't know, but that's part of the reason I asked you guys here, was that hopefully maybe you could travel back the way that he came and find some more information, maybe give some closure, find out who did this and why. If you can, maybe recover some of the items that he had. Pappy always made a point of any places that he went in the world, if he could find something that was of interest, a trinket here or a magical item there, he'd bring them back here, and I would identify them, and we kind of made a living selling off various things. I'd identify them, figure out what was worth keeping and storing away and what was worth reselling, and he'd go out and sell stuff on his way out and bring new items back for me to look over when he came in. And I'm not sure what he may have had, but I'm certain that's probably, if somebody knew that he had something that was valuable, probably why they would have attacked. I mean, he was such a friendly person. I can't see him ever creating an enemy in that way.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, so through the stories he told, and from the time that I've known a couple of you, I hope that maybe you guys be able to go out and see what you can find. I've asked others to do the same, but many have declined. They're from different parts of the world and they want to stay in that area. Some of them just are kind of opposed to danger. A lot of the barbs are just kind of, they want to go and play their music. They're not interested in adventuring. So I was hoping maybe you guys would be more successful in that.
Well, I do owe him my life, so I would be happy to see what I can find out for you.
Agreed.
Traveling in a group really isn't my thing, but can't really pass up the opportunity to sort of study more of the beasts that are around. And Poppy was a good guy, so I kind of want to know too. So I'll go.
Well,
I don't prefer the land, but Poppy was amusing and kind and always in a hurry to get back to you. And you asking this favor is as if he is asking this favor. So I'm and I've met these folks, so I'm happy to help as well.
It warms my heart that you guys will take this on. I know that it's not ideal, and if it gets too dangerous, please don't put yourselves at risk. But I would just like to know what came of them, what
As
caused
would
this.
I.
And she looks over at Fina. If there are beasts to be found, I mean, the reports I've gotten have been very mixed on what caused this attack. So, if beasts are of your interest, this might be something right in your alleyway. I do have a few things I'd like to give to you guys before you head out. First off, and she kind of reaches into a large sack that's sitting beside her, and she pulls out a couple of very small, leather-bound, tightly tied at the top, tiny sacks, like just they're itsy bitsy, and she hands one of them to each of you, and says, "This is a little bit of ash from Pappy's fire. He loved to travel the world, and I hope in your guys' journeys you can take this and eventually spread him in various corners of the world, and then maybe come back and tell me where you've left him, and so I can imagine that he's still on adventures everywhere."
That's beautiful.
And then she reaches back in, and
Bless you.
Gesundheit, Virgil. She pulls out a set of a wrapped package that's got a little bit of weight to it, but it's obviously very flexible. And she hands it over to Perry. She goes, "And I'd like you to have this." And she hands you over the package.
Wow. I open it slowly, carefully.
And she sees you kind of slowly. She's like, "It's just paper. Just rip it open."
Fine, I rip it open.
And you pick up these leather-bound goggles with reddish ruby-ish looking lenses on the front. To you, they might look almost like aviator goggles in a way, with these red lenses. And she says, these carry some special properties with them. Go and put them on and look into the closet over there.
I do exactly as she says. I put them on and look at the closet.
So as you stand up and go over to the closet and open up the door, it's pitch black in the closet. And as you bring the goggles over your eyes, suddenly you can see everything in the closet as clear as day. It's all kind of got a red hue to it, but you can make out all the objects as clear as if it was bright.
Fan-frickin-tastic!
And then you bring the goggles back up and it's pitch black inside the closet. You bring them back down, you can see everything. You just do this a few times and you're like, "This is amazing."
Oh, this is a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. Wow.
She looks over at Fu and pulls out a book and a quill and hands it over to him. And she goes, "I think this will be of use to you. If you'd like to, open up the book and hold the quill to it."
Okay, I will.
And as you do, this appears on your screen. I'm going to type this privately to you. Just give me a second here, sorry.
If that book tells you it's Tom Riddle, it's a Horcrux.
I know. I was going to ask if he knew Voldemort.
So you see that appear on the book, and she says, "You can do that once per day, and it'll show you the census of the area around you. It'll show you the number and which creatures may be nearby."
Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I think this might come in handy.
And so you close up the book, and you can choose to share what you found out or not, but um, that's what you've got.
Basically, what the book showed me is who's around. Lots of humans, couple of orcs, 3 halflings, and there's another one here that I don't quite know. Have any of you guys heard of a genasi?
Genasi.
I'm gonna have to research that one a little bit.
Yeah, that
I've
doesn't
never
ring
heard
a
of it.
bell at all.
Interesting.
I know I've heard the word, but I don't know where from. I know nothing about it.
She looks over at Fergal and says, "To you, sir, for somebody who's always been as selfless as I've known you to be," and she hands you a glove. And the glove, it looks a little bit odd. It has no palm on it. And she says, "Take your dagger and run it across your palm."
That sounds awful, but okay.
And
I do it.
so you run it across your palm, and a little bit of blood kind of appears there. And she says, she goes, "Reach over and touch one of your new friends here
With the blood.
with the blood." She says with a little bit of a grin.
Who wants blood?
I'm adventurous.
Sure. I'll high five her with the blood.
I high five back.
So you high five back, and you feel like a warmth come over you, Perry, and any small nicks and scratches you had on you kind of close up. And she and Fergal, a couple of nicks and scratches that she had on her kind of start to appear on you.
Oh.
And Vala says, "That's known as the glove of self-sacrifice. You can do a small amount of damage to yourself to heal somebody else for the same amount of damage."
Yeah, cool.
I hope they were both vaccinated.
What is this you speak of?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to give blood, so.
And then she looks finally at Athena, and she says, "And for you, I actually have 2 gifts.
Oh,
Not
I'm bouncing
fair.
on the balls of my
What a
feet,
jet.
kind of excited.
The first, I don't know the reason behind it, but he was very particular that you were to have this." And she hands you over a small stone.
Reach out and take it and kind of turn it over in my hand, looking at it.
And it looks pretty much like an ordinary stone, but it's like, she goes, I don't really know why, but he insisted that you had that stone. But because I don't want to send you away with just a paperweight, she reaches down and pulls out a bag. And she goes, "This may aid you on your journey." And it's a large kind of leather bag with a big letter H on it. She goes, I'm not 100% certain on how this works, but, and she reaches into the sack and just starts pulling out food stuff. She's like, "I stuffed this thing full of turkeys the other day, and it doesn't get any bigger." She goes, "As far as I know, you can put as much stuff into this bag as you wish." Kind of just hands it over to you.
That is amazing. That's really going to help a little person like me. Thank you.
And so she says, I hope you guys are able to use these items if you come across other items that you need help identifying, I've had quite a bit of practice. I'm happy to help you in the future if you need to. But if there's anything you can do to find out who did this, or even better, bring me the heads of those who did this. And
Wow.
she kind of goes quiet for a minute.
Went dark fast.
You can kind of see the
not
anger
my
building up
cue.
into her as she's thinking more and more about what may have happened. She's like, that body. Whoever, it was so vile. And as she kind of collects herself for a minute, she's like, I'm sorry. I haven't had time to accept all of this yet. But,
You should be
Like I
sorry,
said.
Leah.
sorry?
Nothing, just being rude.
So she says, yeah, if you're able to find out who did this, I'd be very much appreciative of it. I can't really offer you more than what I've given or told, but you can speak with the head guard of the town. They might be able to give you more information. Jeanette, you probably find her over at her home just down the street a little bit. She'd be able to fill you in on anything more that I may not, or she may not be able to give much more information at all, because I'm not sure how much she actually knows. But
Jeanette. And who is she again?
The head guard.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
she's the guard captain for Bilgewater. But I thank you for coming, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
It was an honor to finally meet you.
It was.
She kind of shakes your hand and pulls you in for a quick hug and gives hugs all around, and then the guard opens up the door to the kitchen, and you guys can head your way back out.
I can see why Poppy was always eager to go home.
She is a fine woman.
I'm concerned about what she said about wanting their skulls. She's not like her. I guess grief.
I'd be pretty mad, I think, if somebody killed my husband. Hard to keep all that bottled up all the time.
Okay, so you guys come through the living room. The next group of folks kind of go in, and you guys step outside. Is there anything you'd like to do at this point?
What kind of time? We're morning, early afternoon? What are we looking at?
It's probably noonish now.
Do we need to try to prepare at all, guys?
Prepare for what?
Go on this adventure that we're being sent on.
I'd like to talk to Jeanette first.
Yes, same.
Sounds like a good
Valaka
idea.
said she might have some more info. And I imagine she might even have info that she wouldn't have given to Vala, that she might give to us, because we're not going to have all the feelings about it. Well, we are, but
Right.
we're not the wife.
Might be a little tactless to say some things to her.
Unnecessary.
All right. So you guys kind of ask around as you're getting outside. You ask one of the guards where to kind of point you in the direction of Jeanette's home, and you're pointed to a smaller home near the center of town, right next to. If you're looking at the map, it's right next to the well there. A little tinier home just to the north of the well, and you knock on the door, and a human female, she's probably in her mid-30s, opens the door. You can tell on her right hand she's missing a couple of fingers. She's decked out in armor, carrying a sword, has a certain hardness to her look. She's been in fights and has dealt with unpleasantness in the past, and gives off the air of somebody who really knows how to hold her own and act as a leader of sorts. She kind of suspiciously looks at you and says, "Can I help you?"
Are you Guard Captain Jeanette?
That I am. You are?
I'm Perry. I was friends with Poppy. We all were. We've just come from Vala's.
Ah, yes. Okay. I'm sure Vala expressed what I've told her of what we've been able to find out. Do come in. And she kind of holds the door open, and you can see she's got a very simple home. There's not too much there, mostly a few stools and a couple of tables. It's a very barren home, a little where most people would probably have a bed. She just has a sleeping bag of sorts, a bedroll laid out on the floor. Do come in and make yourself comfortable, and I'd be happy to share what I can. If Vala says that you're to know the details, I'll give you as much information as I can. What is it that you'd like to know?
Well, she's asked us to kind of retrace his steps to see if we can find out a little bit more about what happened to him, or maybe even find who did it. Do you have any sort of information that might help us on our way?
Especially anything you might not have told her, being the wife.
Well, Vala's a fairly hardy lady. I'm sure she's hurting quite a bit from this. She's not one to, I feel the need to hide many details from. We tried to hide the body at first because it was quite gruesome. It looked like he had been attacked and just stabbed repeatedly. He had slashes in his arms and deep stab wounds all over his body. We found in his hair just remnants of what almost looked like spider webs. It was sticky substance, and it was very, very odd. And his horse had some slashes on it, and in them it looked like it had a strange type of coarse hair on it. I couldn't quite tell you. She kind of pulls out a little bag of it, kind of shows you some of the hairs that were on the horse.
Can I see if I know anything about that?
Sure, you can roll a wisdom check for me.
Can I boost that for her too?
Yeah, you can give her a help and see if she can.
So she can roll twice, right?
Yep.
11, please.
11.
A lot of good your help with, Jenny.
So you kind of look them over. It looks like it would be. It's not fur. It definitely looks like a coarser item. You're not sure what it is, but it doesn't look like it comes from a dog or anything along those lines. It's a much coarser, harder hair. It doesn't seem like a fur at all. But outside of that, you don't really get a sense of what it might come from. It's a fairly long hair. It's probably about, I don't know, 6 inches long. So you're not sure what beast might have something like that on it.
Is there enough that we could ask to take some for comparison on our journey?
Sure, she says. We've had people look it over. You could take this with you if you'd like.
Yes, I would like to. Thank you.
No problem.
I'll add it to my.
She goes, to the best of our knowledge, he was performing up near Taunton, and then was on his way home when he was attacked. I don't know exactly where, because the horse drug him for quite a while, so we haven't been able to find the exact point where he was attacked. But
maybe starting in that town is a good idea.
So where exactly was his horse found?
His horse was found just coming past Ramsgate back towards us.
Maybe he made an enemy in that town he was performing in.
What was the name of the town he was performing in?
To the best of our knowledge, he was performing up around Taunton area.
Thank you.
Maybe we should try there first. See what we can find out about him.
Well, if his horse is found between here and Ramsgate, it would be kind of odd if no one spotted the horse coming down the road through Ramsgate, so it's possible it happened between here and there.
Yeah, maybe he never made it.
Seems like we've got some steps to trace backwards.
How long was he gone for? Like, how long had it been since he had been home?
He had been gone for a few weeks. He generally goes off and does a travel for about half a month, and then comes back and spends a couple of weeks here, and then goes out on his travels again. So it's not uncommon to have Pappy be away for a while. But I know Vala was very excited to have him back. She had received word that he was coming back home, and she grew worried when he didn't show up, but not too terribly worried. Travel, people can be delayed and made late. But unfortunately, when we did find him, it wasn't under the circumstances we were hoping for.
About how long would a normal trip from Billswater to Taunton take on horseback?
Oh, let me see. And she has a little bit of math here. On horseback, from here to Taunton would be probably about a week.
So, if he was gone, you said he was gone for a few weeks. A week to get there, maybe a week there, and a week to travel back. But probably longer to travel back since he never actually made it.
And he definitely sent word that he was coming back. So he didn't expect to be in a hurry, or he never would have bothered sending word. Because
Right.
horseback, he'd make it at the same time as the word.
So that's about as much as we've been able to acquire thus far. I don't have the men. There's just myself and two guards to look over the town, but we tried to provide as much information as we could and sent it out to the larger Crown Guard. Although the happenings in our little town is probably not the largest concerns of Kalsgard and the larger forces, but we just hope some answers can come, if for nothing else than just to give some closure to Vala.
That is the goal.
And if
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to ask if there were any known groups of, not necessarily evildoers, but people who aren't necessarily lawful through his route that we should maybe scope out.
Oh, there's all sorts around. Ramsgate is a fairly popular hub to get from Kingdom of Hathaway over here to Kalsgard. You have all sorts come through there. The north, by and large, is sparsely populated. There's only a couple of small towns up that way. A lot of the land is unoccupied or unexplored. It'd be probably an ideal location for somebody who wanted to disappear for a while.
Poppy's death seems kind of brutal. Is that uncommon, or
I've
is that a
never
real
seen something
shocker?
like that.
Okay.
It was inhumane. a quarter of those stabs would have ended him. I don't know if it was a matter of somebody just being in a frenzy or just that many people or beasts. Or
Seems almost personal.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't say.
Well, I think we should head towards Teuton, but swing by the direction of that other
Ramsgate.
Rimsgate. Yeah.
I agree.
I wish you guys well. I know, like I said, the larger Kingsguard is probably going to keep this fairly low on their priority. They've been doing their own search for other matters at this time. I don't have all the details on it, but or not at liberty to share. But they are they've got their own searches. But I fear that the case of Pappy in our little town will just fall off the radar. So I'm hoping you guys are able to bring more information back next time we meet.
Thank you for your information.
And she kind of stands up and shakes your hand and holds the door open as you guys step back out. You notice that as you get back outside, there's large crowds of people kind of heading off in various directions. Many of the tents have been taken down. It seems like now that the funeral itself is over and people are starting to awaken, sober up from their night of partying, that they're heading back out of the small town and heading back to wherever it is that they hailed from or where their next travels were heading off to. Is there anything you guys would like to do at this point?
Well,
I think
nothing
we
I
should
need
probably.
from town. Has Fergal been using his magic? Does he need a rest?
All the spells I was using were all cantrips for the most
Oh,
part.
fantastic.
So it's now probably coming on supper time. So I'll let you guys decide what you'd like to do and go from there. Any place you want to visit, anybody you want to talk to, or do you just want to hit the road? Or
Well, I'm not one for traveling at night. I would prefer to wait for the break of day before heading out anyways.
Head to the tavern for some supper and bed down and start in the morning.
Sounds like a plan.
Is there entertainment at the inn tonight?
Oh, I'll entertain you.
I'm just thinking friends of Pappy that may have heard something else.
Yeah.
oh, you're more than welcome to go take a look. If you guys want to head back to the inn, we can do that.
I'm game.
Me too.
Let's go.
Does it have a name by any chance?
Yes, it does. It's called the Sleepy Tavern.
Oh.
And so you guys approach the Sleeping Tavern, not the Sleepy, the Sleeping Tavern.
Oh.
I read it too quickly. The Sleeping Tavern. As you guys kind of walk in, it's noticeably less full than it was the last time you were in this place. The tables have kind of gone back into their somewhat normal arrangement. It's just the single bartender up at the front now. He's a middle-aged man, kind of tall and thin. You see he fidgets quite a bit as he's polishing glasses, what have you. He sees you as you walk in, kind of gives a wave and says, "Sit anywhere you like." And he kind of waves you over towards some of the empty seats, and you can see that there's a few other people in here. Maybe about 6 other folks in the inn right now, or sorry, in the bar area of the inn right now.
I prefer to stand at the bar. It's just a preference of mine, where I can see everything.
Okay, well, standing at the bar, you'll probably actually have your back to most of the tables, but
Really? I can't stand at the corner of the bar.
oh yeah, you can do that. I'm just saying, if you were standing at the bar facing the bartender, you'd have your back.
No, 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 no. My back is definitely not to the room.
Okay.
Let's take a table sort of close to where she's standing.
I appreciate it.
And Travis Hargoth is his name. He comes out. Anything I can get you?
Something to fill my belly, please. I'm not particular.
All right. Well, we've kind of gone through most of our provisions here yesterday, but I've got cheese and some meat and some mead, and as always, we've got ale. But that's probably about as much as my provisions have at the moment.
Sounds heavenly.
So, meat and cheese.
Meat, cheese, some ale. Anybody else?
Sounds
kinda
good to me.
I kind of prefer not to spend money if I don't have to. But since I'm in a place of business, I'll take another water. But I'm going to chew on my own jerky that I've brought, if that's all right.
Do as you wish. He kind of looks over at Fergal. Anything for you, sir?
Whiskey.
We got drank dry of anything other than ales, my friend.
Dwarven whiskey.
Then I suggest you check the mountains. Ale it is. And he turns back towards the bar and starts gathering what he can. And he returns a few minutes later and puts down the glasses in front of you and has a large platter of meat and cheese. Kind of looks around and goes, okay, so that'll be 4, 8, 12, 15. Sorry. Yeah, 15 copper, please.
I throw him a silver piece.
You know what? As do I.
Okay, I actually forget what.
Oh wait, how did I translate?
Yeah, I actually forget what the
That's
conversion
20
rate is.
copper.
Yeah.
It's 10 to 1, isn't it?
Oh, that's not going to work then if it's 15. Okay. So let me make this, that, make that. Oh, that's still not enough. Oh wait, okay, then that.
Yeah, 1 silver is 10 copper.
Okay. So, and I owe 15 copper, you say? Or we all owe 15 copper together?
It's 15 copper for the group, for everything you guys have ordered in.
Oh.
And I
I'll
gave
throw in 2
10.
coppers for my water.
All right, I'll let
Just
you
because
guys
you
work
can't come in and not spend money.
I'll let you guys work out how you pay for this amongst yourselves afterwards. But so he hands off the food, lets you know it's 15 copper. Is there anything else I can get you for this evening?
Do you have rooms available?
Well, we do now. Yeah, we've had quite a few people check out. How many rooms would you be needing?
Well, Fergal, do you mind sharing a room?
Not at all.
Okay, so one for us gentlemen.
Fina?
Oh, I thought you meant me and my familiar. Yeah,
Companion.
me and you can share a room, I guess.
Okay.
I won't be needing a room, thanks. I prefer to stay outside.
Oh, I didn't even think about that because I would as well. I'd rather be down by the water.
Hey, we could kind of cuddle up together.
Oh, that's fine by me.
Can I get a room with a view of the waterfront?
Travis kind of gives you a grin and slides a key over to you and says, "All right, that'll be 1 gold for the room, and
Ooh.
It's the room with the view, though. You'll enjoy it."
All right.
Looks
I'll fork over the gold for that.
and says to the ladies, if it gets too cold, let us know. We will have room. Feel free to come back inside.
Thank you, sir.
And then kind
Very
of
kind.
wishes you guys adieu. And you guys can begin eating and drinking and chatting.
Can I take a look around to see if are there any musicians playing first of all, and if not, can I maybe pinpoint some in the establishment if there are?
You don't see any musicians playing in the room at the moment. You see a couple of locals. You see a couple of guards. You see 2 guards, presumably the 2 that reported into Jeanette, and then just a couple of just scattered folks of no particular interest at all, but regular locals or possible travelers. It's hard to tell.
When we were walking in, what was going on outside? Is it just calm like the town again? I mean, you describe people walking around. Is there still a lot of visitors, or is it mostly calmed down now?
No, as you guys were coming out, it was kind of an exodus. A lot of people
Okay.
were there was a lot of activity as people were packing up and leaving, but there wasn't a
Okay.
whole lot of stuff happening in the town other than those who had came
Okay.
for the funeral starting to exit out.
And none of these scattered folks, those little thieves I saw the other day, are there?
You don't recognize any of them now.
Okay.
Well, this has been a rather interesting turn of events, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. It feels strange to think I'll never, roll into a port, hop into a tavern, and see Pappy again. But I know exactly where I'm taking his ashes. He's finally going on that adventure he never took me up on.
Which adventure's that?
Oh, I used to tease him that he should run away. I didn't really mean it. He knew I didn't. It was just a thing. He should run away with me and travel the seas. But he always wanted to get back to his wife, and I can see why now.
All right. So as the evening wears on, you guys chit chat a little bit. Is there anybody that's kind of keeping a special close watch in the room at all, or trying to overhear anything?
Oh, that's why I'm up at the bar, so I can see everything. I'm always anxious in a room, in a crowd, and people, and nosy too.
Roll a perception check for me.
Certainly. Perception.
I will assist.
Okay. Roll.
Everybody's assistance has been fantastic thus far. It's as you kind of look around the room, you notice the 2 guards are in deep conversation. You can overhear a few words about Kalsgard, about the Duke, something about his son. You're not getting full conversations, but you're catching that they're having a fairly in-depth conversation about that.
How far away from me? I mean, are they near me that I could speak to them, or?
They're kind of on the other side of the bar. They've got a kind of a 2-person seat sitting up, probably across the room from you.
Okay. I'm not gonna go to them, but I'm gonna look at them, and if for any reason any of them looks my direction, I'm gonna kind of tip my head up.
Okay.
Maybe they'll come to me.
All right. Anybody else want to do anything?
I'll send Gerard up to the rafters.
Okay.
Oh, here's a question. Are they all named Gerard, or is this particular one named Gerard?
They're all named Gerard.
Okay.
So it's just one that can take different forms.
Yeah, it doesn't technically even exist. It's more like a magical force that comes into existence in the shape of an animal.
Cool.
So Gerard goes up to the rafters, completely unnoticed, and kind of peeking out around the room. I'm not sure if you're going to go into your trance and kind of see through his eyes or not, but
Yeah, I will.
so you kind of go off into your trance, and Gerard's looking through at the room, and he sees pretty much what I described before, the number of people, what have you. He hears kind of the same small snippets of conversation. He sees the guards start to kind of wipe their mouths as they finish off their food, and they start to stand. Around the same time, Travis is walking over to your guys' table. He kind of gives a wave to the guards as they're standing, getting ready to leave. As he gets to your table, he stops and takes a look at you and just sees your face and how your eyes have kind of rolled back. And he glances over to Fina and goes, "Is he all right?"
Yeah, it's all right. He kind of strokes out a little bit every now and then, but he'll be fine. He'll come back.
You should get that looked at. And he just kind of looks odd and then walks away.
That's what I told him.
I can't answer technically. So.
So the guards get up from their meal, and they head for the door, and they walk out into the night. At this point now, it's coming on later in the evening. If you guys want to sleep away the night, you're more than welcome.
I'm ready to head to the water.
Let's go.
All right. Meet your ladies here in the morning for breakfast.
Absolutely.
Night, fellas.
Night.
Good night.
All
And I run up to my room to see if I can pinpoint where they're sleeping.
right. So as you guys kind of settle in for the evening, that brings an end to Friday night, which was Pappy's funeral. This was Saturday, and you guys will awaken on Sunday. And with that, I think we will end tonight's session and say that was the end of the first session of our new campaign here in Kelmina.
And we are on the
Okay.
47th day of winter.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope
All
that was
right.
fun for you guys. So your homework, work out your money purses between you all. Add the items that were given to you to your inventories, so you have them in there and you don't forget about them. I'll give you more specifics off stream of exactly what they do, but just mark down what they are. And if you have any notes about anybody who, what I'm calling cool points, that's the term you'll hear me use for this anymore. Anybody who you think earned cool points today, make a list of it. You don't need to share it with everybody, just share it with me. And I will come back probably later tonight or tomorrow and tell you how much XP you earned for this evening's session. And hope you guys enjoyed. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you
Good
very
game.
much.
I did. Yeah.
Interesting trinkets that we got.
I love it. They're stylish.
anybody who's watching on the stream, thanks very much for watching. Hope you guys had a great evening, and we will be back. Next scheduled one is for Friday. If we can't make Friday, we'll be doing next Tuesday, but hopefully we can do next Friday and carry on with the adventure. Or sorry, this coming Friday and carry on with the adventure. So take care, everybody. I'm going to stop off the stream and catch us all next time.